everybody, and welcome. I apologize. My wonderful husband got me sick this past week, so I am losing my voice. But, Loki, come on. I apologize. The dog's getting into the laundry basket since I'm in my office. Lay down. Good boy. But I will be, as soon as our taxes hit, ordering a microphone. So from now on, when I am sick and I lose my voice, I won't have to feel like I'm yelling, and you guys will still be able to hear me just fine. I am, as usual, sharing the live feed across Facebook, and I am also checking that I'm live on like YouTube and that type of stuff. So I apologize. Give me just a minute. In the comments below, let me know how everybody's Sunday is doing. Or how everybody's doing this Sunday, I guess I should say. Also, let me hold this up. Facebook over here, because Facebook will not let me do the app follow on my normal Facebook, so I apologize. All right. Let me come to my main page. No. So sad. Followers. Yeah, I don't know why. When I am on mobile, it will not allow me to share anything. Like, I can't follow anybody on my Facebook. So also, hopefully when we get our taxes, I can get the better of the two microphones that I want, which then should get rid of the feedback that I keep hearing when I'm live. So I apologize for that. It's because my phone is not far from the computer, and the phone's microphone is picking all that jazz up. Sorry, I need some aromatherapy today, and even though my sniffer is somewhat sniffing, and my voice is gone, I needed that extra little feel-good thing. I'm gonna add just a dab on my wrist so the smell kind of stays with me. Oh, that's so much better. All right. How is everybody? Again, please feel free to drop in the comments how your Sunday is going. I want reasons to celebrate this week. I want to hear something that you guys did or accomplished that was new and you were nervous about, but now that you have gone ahead and taken the leap, you feel really good about. So drop all of that in the comments. Some of my stuff for this week is that I finally got my consent management protocol implemented on my website. So when you go to cosmiclotusconsult.com, you will now get a cookie banner that lets you know that I do collect information, I use it for analytics purposes, and it even shows you who I partner with and how they use your information, which I'm really proud of. Also, I have been working potentially on a couple of community sponsorships for this year. So I'm really excited. I don't want to give too much detail about it until I've had the opportunity to iron out all the details and see how I can work with both of these organizations to sponsor them. I'm really excited for that, and I look forward to letting you guys know more about each one that I am looking to sponsor. Again, I apologize for my voice. I am having to yell. Otherwise, you guys wouldn't be able to hear me. What else? There's other stuff that I'm proud of this week. I have sent in my Carnegie Mellon University admissions essay. So I'm looking forward to hopefully being able to be accepted and go for their bachelor's in business administration, along with minoring in their IDE, ATE, innovation, and entrepreneurship. So I'm hoping to be able to double major. So I'm really looking forward to a lot of those really exciting things coming up for Cosmic Lotus Consulting. And those are just my wins. So I really can't wait to hear everybody's. I want to celebrate those with you. And if you drop them during the live, I will happily stop what I am doing to celebrate with you guys. All right. So who's ready to get into week 2, where we talk about the value of branding? We're going to talk about signaling theory and the trust gap. All right. Sorry, it has been one heck of a week. I'm ultra tired, not feeling very well. But I can't wait to dive into this with you. It's been so long since I've been in my office that this feels really good. It feels really cathartic. I'm so ready for the warmer weather ahead. All right, let's get started. So I'm going to go ahead. Oh, I should have left my Facebook open. Oh, I can drop it into the chat over here. That's fine. All right, so I'm going to do like I have been doing, and I'm going to copy the link, and I'm just going to drop it in the chat. This way you guys have easy access, and I'm posting to both YouTube and Facebook. If you guys need me to drop a link in the chat, please let me know. I will be more than happy to do that again for you. So today we're going to talk a little bit about the Nobel Prize. And one of the things that Michael Spence won the Nobel Prize for, which is the signaling theory. Now, the signaling theory is, in basics, the reason why peacocks have huge tails that they don't actually need for flying. They're signaling that they're so strong that they can carry that weight. Your brand is your peacock tail. Since your neighbors can't afford to get scammed, they look for trust signals. If your logo looks like a ransom note, you're signaling that you're a risk. It's called information asymmetry. The customer doesn't know if you're a good roofer until the first storm hits. So they use your appearance as a proxy for your work. Now, I want everyone to be honest. How many of you still have an email address that ends in at AOL.com or at Yahoo.com? It's okay. We're going to fix your dignity today. Why do you think a customer would care about what your email address looks like? And just an example of this is if you look at my email address is raylyn at cosmiclotusconsult.com. It matches my website. Why do you think that is? Why do you think when you are emailing a university or even your kid's school email, it's all branded for whatever the school is or whatever the store is or whatever company you're working with? You look for that branding, that consistent image across all platforms. So why do you guys think that something like that is important? Why do you think customers would care? All right. We are on to the next slide, which also means that we are on to the next link. And so here I'm going to post an introduction into behavioral economics. It's a free guide. I apologize if anybody can hear that. All right. So what we're going to talk about here is branding as insurance, the poverty premium, and why trust is more liquid than cash. In a rich neighborhood, a bad painter is just an annoyance. In our neighborhood, economically disadvantaged neighborhoods, it's a financial disaster. This is the poverty premium, that our customers actually pay more for trust than a luxury. They're looking for the cheapest guy, but they're also looking for the guy that won't disappear with the deposit. You have to walk this fine line between being affordable and being recognizable. Your brand exists to kill that fear. Consistency is your best friend. If your trick is blue today and white tomorrow, you look like you're on the run. We want to look like we've been here in this neighborhood since it was built. Raise your hand if you've ever been ghosted by a contractor or a client. Did you have a feeling of betrayal? Were you angry? What was coming up for you in that time? These are the things that your brand exists to kill. So I want everybody to give me an example of a time that they felt. I want everybody to give me a time that they felt like they were ripped off by a company that they thought that they could trust. Maybe it was a local plumber that has maybe been in business, 10 years. Maybe they had a good reputation and maybe the original owner got sick and had to sell the company, and now the new owners are the ones ruining that reputation. I want to hear these types of comments, because what we're then going to focus on is why that branding matters, why You can't just rest on the laurels of your name once you've built up a reputation or has had that reputation built up for you, and why you have to back it up with consistent, viable options. That'll be more in next week's. So yes. So did you know that low-income customers are going to be 3 times more risk adverse than the wealthy ones? Here's the reason why. They don't have the disposable income. So a $200 mistake for them is potentially a financial catastrophe. That means back office systems that they won't be able to afford, products, business insurance, their rent. It puts them behind on so much. This is why your branding needs to be your insurance policy. And this is why you want to keep your brand consistent across all platforms. Even I'm guilty as a disabled business owner of sometimes putting my brand on the back burner because I'm so focused on what I'm doing for my clients that I forget to build in that time for consistent branding. And I can tell you, I have had to claw a lot harder than I probably would have had I not put my brand on the back burner. And I'm really trying to be more consistent with my brand, and I'm trying to slowly grow my brand across LinkedIn, Facebook, Alignable, Google My Business. I mean, I have so many, and I literally have to take an entire week away from my business just to be able to catch up. And sometimes I have to take an entire 2 weeks away just to catch up. And I mean, it definitely is hard. And so what I really recommend is having systems in place. And what I mean by systems in place is, have something like Socialmonials, Hello Woofy, ClickUp, some sort of content calendar, scheduler. Have your content pre-planned and scheduled out 90 days in advance across all platforms. If you have a platform that will help you schedule across multiple platforms, such as Facebook, Instagram, Google My Business, LinkedIn, all in one platform, go for it. Do it. Because if you can tailor each post just a little bit to the wants and the needs of each platform that you're on, you're going to build that trust. If they can see the same post in 3 different places, but it's ever so slightly different in all of those places, maybe you do a carousel on Instagram and you do a short reel on YouTube and TikTok. Maybe on TikTok you do like a 5 to 10 minute video, where on YouTube you keep it short and sweet and to the point. But they all have a consistent message. It all says the same thing, just you're expounding a little bit more off of what was initially an Instagram carousel wheel. Loki, come on. And so that's really what I want you guys to start focusing on when you're thinking of consistency. It's not always posting every single day, but it is showing up consistently across all platforms when you do show up. Whether it's every day, 3 times a week, you name it. Consistency matters in so many ways, more than just posting every single day. And I know that the algorithm will tell you that you have to post multiple times a day, every single day, in order to get seen. And that's different than getting brand recognition and trust. Appeasing the algorithm gods, yeah, they'll push you out to other customers farther out, but are they the right customers? Being able to build that brand awareness means you're doing boots on the ground first. You're doing that guerrilla campaigning, and you're basically your own door-to-door salesman in the local community. Okay, so that's enough of my lecture. I had so much more that I wanted to talk about on this slide than I have already talked about, but I also don't want to drone on and on. But this is one of my favorite things, because being able to talk about branding and talk about making sure that the community recognizes who you are, it's really a big thing for me. I love going to networking events so that I do get that boots on the ground. I love going to festivals and stuff like that, especially in the spring when a lot of stuff is then being held during the day. And so, yeah, I just love being able to go and walk around and connect and be out in nature. So, like, my marketing tends to dwindle down a little bit more in the wintertime, whereas for a lot of people, it tends to spike because, they don't want to sit inside all the time. When it's cold, I don't want to go outside. All right, so we're going to move on to our Q&A today. So welcome to week 2's Q&A. We are going to talk about the scarcity engine and brand innovation. Again, I apologize that this was not a bigger conversation. I know normally my lives for the week last a lot longer, but my body needs a break. So I've had to cut a bit of this, and I very well probably should have just canceled it until next week, but I really didn't want to do that. I like to stay as consistent as possible, and I really, really try hard not to cancel any of my lives. So please know that when I do cancel lives, it is because I truly just cannot get myself situated and organized and alive and all that well enough to present a good presentation. And I will take good over perfect. So this week was about the signaling theory. And we want to talk about information asymmetry. The fact that customers are going to judge you based on what they can't see, based on what they can. And so that really means that if you look like you just put your business together with duct tape and super glue, and hopes and a lot of prayers, then they're going to go to the person that may have been in business not as long as you, but has their shit together in the nicest way possible. They're going to sit here and overlook you. It doesn't matter if you have a Harvard degree or a Stanford business degree or whatever. They're going to sit here and look at whatever degree and certificate you have on the wall and be like, yeah, they didn't teach you nothing. And then they're going to walk away and they're going to go to your competitor. And we don't want to do that. We want to at least look like we know what we're doing, even if we don't. Take the fake it until you make it route. Also, make education part of your branding. I apologize. I need all kinds of water while I'm sick. It's been absolutely not fun, and my throat has been getting so dry. All right. So we just spent about 25 minutes talking about why looking the part is actually a financial strategy. And I know that some of you are thinking, well, I'm not a roofer and I'm not, or, well, I'm a roofer and I'm not a runway model. But the market doesn't care about your feelings. It cares about its own safety. And since you're all sitting here wondering if your current logo looks like a ransom note, let's dive into some comfortable truths. And please feel free to interject with any of your own questions. I will be more than happy to answer them live. I just put these ones together just as something quick to go over that gives you guys a little bit of education. So my first question, if signaling theory says that we judge what we can't see by what we can see, what does the coffee stain on your professional invoice say about your work? I'll give everybody a minute to answer. And just so you know, we are all guilty of right before a very important meeting, we're drinking coffee and we set it down and we have that like little splash that we didn't realize was there. It happens to the best of us. But this question really dives into really dives into making sure that those types of mistakes don't happen all the time, because all it takes is one incident where somebody is looking at that coffee stain and they're going, man, this is the third person that I've already talked to that their invoices look like this, their office is a mess, and you're wondering how they even have the ability to keep your business afloat or get your lawn in order if they can't even keep their office in order. And so they're going to walk out of your office. They're going to tell you that they have some other quotes to look at and that they'll get back to you. And they're not going to call you back. Michael Spence won a Nobel Peace Prize for this. A Nobel Prize, not a Nobel Peace Prize. Oh, God. You can tell I don't feel good. He proved that in markets where the buyer doesn't know the quality, they look for signals. So if you can't say that Jerry's Tree Service provides the quality that they say they do because maybe they don't have a lot of reviews, maybe they don't have a big social media presence, maybe all they have is a one-page website, how are you going to be able to tell if they're a good company? You're going to look to see, what do their trucks look like? What do their invoices look like? Do they have an office or are they working out of this dude's garage? Let's use another one. If you're a painter, the customer doesn't know if you're using high quality primer or cheap chalk until the paint peels in 3 years. Then they know. So they'll look at your invoice. If it's got a coffee stain and a footprint on it, their brain makes a shortcut. If he's messy with his paperwork, he's messy with my crown molding. It's a proxy for quality. Now, I want everyone to be honest here for just a second. Who has ever handed over a document that was a little lived in? What do you think that signaled to the homeowner about your attention to detail? I'm going to give everybody just a minute to answer that. And I'm sure that I am guilty of sending over the not best edited documents. While I try very hard to carefully edit my documents, sometimes when you switch over between, PDF filling files and stuff like that, it gets a little messed up. And sometimes you don't always notice those issues until after you have sent the copy. All right. Why are we okay with the big box store looking like a sterile hospital, but we're terrified to let our local brand look like it has a soul? So that's my big question. When did businesses stop being allowed to be fun? Since when did businesses have to look like a middle-aged man having a midlife crisis? And while I'm waiting for everybody to answer, if you guys are sitting here like, what are you talking about, Ray? I'm talking about, do you remember when McDonald's went through its depressed stage where it was brown? Or even Taco Bell, where it also went through various shades of tan and brown, and very little actual personality. Do you guys remember when the Taco Bell in Arizona, or the McDonald's in Arizona? I think it was the McDonald's. It is the McDonald's. There's a McDonald's in Arizona. I think it's in Mesa. But its arches are blue. And they wanted the arches to be blue to not clash with the natural landscape quite as much and kind of complement it, where the yellow they felt would be very overpowering and just would mess up the aesthetic of the local area. But we almost fear having that splash of color and that bit of personality and that thing that makes us unique in business and our lives. Walmart's even gone really plain. It's gray and blue. What? No. We used to have the little smiley face, and he used to be on all the commercials. There's none of that anymore. We have become a soulless capitalist society. Loki. So yes, don't be the boring guy. So we have been brainwashed to think that professional means boring and gray. We try to copy Home Depot's clinical vibe, but we don't have their billion-dollar legal team to back up that sterile look. Your soul is your competitive advantage. Research into customer identity shows that people in our neighborhoods want to buy from people that they recognize. A sterile brand says, I'm a corporation. A soulful brand says, I'm your neighbor who is an expert. When you walk into a local gift shop, what is one thing that you see that makes you realize it's not a Target? And why aren't you using that same soul in your own business? That one thing that makes you stand out. I know one thing that I absolutely love seeing when I walk in to a local gift shop, and this is common for so many local gift shops in my area. I apologize. There's something moving around a lot in my backyard. Which is weird, because there really shouldn't be anything in my backyard. There also shouldn't be anybody in my backyard. Weird. I apologize. So here's another question. If you doubled your prices tomorrow, but kept your current guy in a truck branding, how many customers do you think might laugh in your face? All right. I can almost guarantee that if you were to double your prices tomorrow, but kept your current branding, people are going to look at you and go, why are we going to spend more money when you won't invest in your own company? They're going to look at you and they're going to go, why should we invest in you when you won't invest in yourself? You can't charge institutional prices with transient branding. If you look like a guy who might not answer his phone next Tuesday, then you're capped at the hazardous labor rate. To double your price, you have to lower the perceived risk. Best way to do that is branding. Branding is the lubricant for higher prices. If your branding says, I have overhead, insurance, and a reputation, the price follows the perception. People are going to be more willing to spend more money when you look like you actually invest in your company and are not just making back deals in some back alley to survive and cut out the middleman on supply prices. Think of the most expensive contractor in your town. Do they actually work harder than you do? Or do they just have a cleaner truck and better font? How much of their price is just perception premium? How much of their work actually outstrips yours? I have a feeling that if you guys were to go toe to toe, it would show that your product is just as good without all of the flash as theirs. But they're going to end up being more likely to get jobs just because they have brand recognition. Come on, milk. All right, so our next question. Does your brand signal that you're an establishment that they can trust, or a transient who might block their driveway and never return? So what that means is basically, are you somebody who is going to show up, somebody that they can trust, or are you going to give them a quote, collect their money, and ghost them tomorrow? Loki, come on. Place. No. Place. Thank you. Hi. Transience is the number one fear in disadvantaged areas. People have been burned by the fly-by-night operations. If your truck has no magnets, your shirt doesn't have a logo, and your website is a dead Facebook link, you're signaling that you're a transient business, one that goes in and out, and nobody ever knows if you're in business or closed that week. Come on. An established brand signals permanency. I've been here. I'm still here, and I have too much to lose to do a bad job so that I'll still be here tomorrow. What is one thing that you do right now that might actually signal that you're a transient worker, a transient business? What is something that signals a lack of uniform? Is it that @Yahoo email address? This is going to help you find the leaks in your boat. Loki, I'm here. Get out of my workout stuff. Come on. Sorry. I've been doing a lot of working out at home lately. Oops. I've been doing a lot of working out at home lately, and the dog is not used to my stuff smelling so strongly of me. Normally it just kind of sits and has plenty of time to collect the smell of whatever container they're sitting in. And so he's overly fascinated by it, and a couple times now he's tried to steal my yoga mat, and so I'm trying to watch him. All right, if your business was a person, would they be the reliable uncle or the cousin that you don't lend money to because his shoes are always untied? And so basically what that means is, are you going to be that person that you're afraid to trust carrying around a glass vase because you're worried they're going to trip? Or are you the person that you know is going to be able to carry that glass vase and it's going to make it where you put it, where you want it to go safely? And I hate to say it, but there is always that brand in the business that makes the rest of the brands just look bad. There's always that one brand that you're just like, oh, come on. So yes, this is brand archetyping. Every business has a personality, whether you've designed it or not. The reliable uncle is the guy who shows up early and has the right tool and doesn't leave a mess. The untied shoes cousin has all the talent in the world, but forgot his ladder and needs to swing by the ATM mid-job. If your brand is the cousin, you're constantly fighting for respect. If your brand is the uncle, then people stop questioning your invoices. So let's do a quick pulse check on your business. Shout out one word that describes your business's personality right now. Is it gritty? Is it fast? Slightly chaotic? Let's be real and let's be honest. So I'm even going to admit it. My business is unhinged, slightly chaotic, so fast. Honestly, my business currently is the tortoise, and I'm the hare. I know that slow and steady is going to win the race, but my business changes so fast. The industry that I'm in changes so fast. The regulations, tax conditions, all kinds of stuff. All the things that I need to be able to do to help other businesses run their business, all of that changes so quickly that unless you're doing the slow and steady, it feels like you're never going to catch up. And then, not to mention, there are those changes, but then there are 3 kids that we have. There's going to be sports coming up. There is doctor's appointments, school stuff, dances, recitals, all of that, plays. And so all of this plays into that wonderful, beautiful chaos. But here's the wonderful thing. As business owners, oh, excuse me, I got the hiccups. As business owners, we have the ability to plan our lives and plan our jobs and all of that to some extent around our business and our clients and our everyday life, so that we have the ability to catch up and still be able to educate ourselves, stay on top of our family and the industries that we're in, so that we can still appear to be the expert that we have branded ourselves to be. And I know it's a lot of hats to wear. And we are almost done. One last question, and then we'll have our closing. We all know that the poverty premium makes our customers risk averse. Is your brand an insurance policy or a liability in their eyes? And even I know, with my disability and the amount of times that I've had to step away from business for several months due to surgeries or severe infections or health stuff, that also does make it so that customers are sitting here and they're like, oh, is she going to still be in business in another year? Guys, I have lasted for 6 years so far. I will definitely be back next week, next month. I will always be here. I'm hoping to eventually have a team to help boost my productivity, so that even when I personally can't show up for my business, there's somebody else who can, in ways that I can't at that time, which then makes it so that I can focus on the more important aspects and not just everything. That's another thing, guys. Your employees are your brand. When you're just a single-handed person, that is brand recognition that you're losing out on, because you are the team. You're the janitor, the business owner, the COO, the CFO, you name it. You are the board. You are the everything for your business. And so by not having employees, you're losing out on branding opportunities. So my final thought for the night: in our world, branding isn't just a luxury, it's an insurance policy. Our customers are playing with their last $500 if they hire you. They are betting their entire month on you. If your brand looks like a liability, they will only hire you if you are the absolute cheapest option. And that's not how you want them to be. You want them to be excited to work with you, because excited customers are going to excitedly give you reviews. If your brand looks like an insurance policy, they will pay a premium price just to sleep better at night. Now, look at your last 3 reviews. Did the customers mention how cheap you were, or how worried they were before you showed up? If so, that tells you that you're a liability and not an insurance policy. Now, it looks like I've given you just enough to think about to keep you awake until about 3 a.m., which is good. Next week, we are going to stop talking about why and start talking about how with the $20 brand stack. We are going to then start building the reliable uncle identity for the price of a couple of pizzas. So I look forward to seeing you all next week. Thank you so much for spending a portion of your Sunday with me. I look forward to seeing everybody next week. Bye. Dang it.